Introducing health and wellness advocate, veteran international real estate investment expert, author and speaker, Adiel Gorel.
Health tips, fitness tips, nutrition and well-being, world-class experts, all right here on my podcast, The Adiel Gorel Show. Okay, so in general, one thing that's being in vogue a lot recently, and I've been asking people about it, is, of course, sweating. We know is part of how we carry out some toxins. And many people don't sweat as much as they used to because, we spend more time indoors, air conditioning. So we like to talk about saunas. And now it's easy, relatively easy, I should say, to get a sauna for your home. And they're usually infrared. Can you talk a little bit about that? Have you seen it? What is your opinion? Like that?
Yes. Sauna is a very old way to detoxify the body, but more so to cardiovascular benefit. So they did the only sauna study that is really scientific and population-based is actually the Finnish, because in Finland, apparently the house always comes with a sauna, okay?
Isn't that nice? Like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1 sauna. That's like a standard, yeah.
So they found out people use it every day, and then they found people use it once a week. There's a huge difference in cardiovascular disease benefit, hypertension, heart attack and stroke. So that's for sure. When it comes down to detox, it's a little bit of vague. Okay, people say, I did a sauna, the toxins are out. That's a little bit of incontroversial. Let me tell you why. First of all, most commercial sauna use some kind of wood. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the wood have to preserve themselves. You go out to see a tree and they don't have bugs. Why? Because they actually have natural insecticides. Now, some people don't care. They are okay. But for environmentally sick people, the sauna can actually release chemicals that challenge their detox system. So that was really one thing I learned from Dr. Patel. She's the founder of American Academy of Environmental Medicine. She taught me a lot about sauna. The second thing is a lot of people go to the gym. They go to the gym because the sauna is easy and they don't have to buy one in their home. And they don't know who was there before them. So they sit there for 40 minutes, they're sweating. What's in that room could be re-entered through your respiratory system. You see? And this is not just a unreasonable concern, because we actually have lots of environmental medicine doctors have the sauna in their office, and many of them got sick. Okay, that's a question that the outgassing, is this safe without adequate ventilation? That's what Dr. Patel was saying. You really need to have the head preferably outside, because you're breathing back in, you are just releasing. So portable sauna is becoming an option. It's also cheaper. It also does not require big space. So I do think some of the less outgassing portable sauna, don't buy one that's $200. Sometimes you don't know they're outgassing material. I would investigate portable sauna. The sauna I really like is also called the Sarah Sage. They're in Florida, and I met the founders, the inventors. They're wonderful people because they have a history of losing their child to Lyme disease. So they're really passionate about helping people in a real way, not just making some kind of money. So they're very reliable people, very sincere. And it's called Sarah Sage.
Sarah, T-H-E?
T-H-E-R-A-S-A-G-E, Sarah Sage. Mm-hmm. They have infrared. They also have the spectrum light. So when you go in there, it's like you're getting the sunshine also. So it's good for the vitamin D.
However, you talked about the problem with the wood, off-gassing. what about the problem with some of the portable saunas have been shown to have high, EMF? So you need to find a portable sauna that doesn't off gas and has extremely low levels of, EMF. Can you find stuff like that?
Yeah, so Sarasage is one of them.
Okay.
They test for EMF.
Okay.
Yes, they test for EMF, outgassing, also the speed of sweating, because you don't want them to sit there for like an hour. Nobody have time.
Yeah.
Now they
You gotta get hot.
You gotta get hot soon. And Sarasage, I actually tried in China in a hotel, and within 30 minutes, I was completely sweating. So that's really important.
Now, if we talk about sauna, again, I don't want to delve too deep because we have so much more to talk about, but there is the far infrared, there is the near infrared, there is even red, and they all seem to have their own benefits. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so what I understand from speaking to my mentors in environmental medicine, they said most of the study are actually based on conventional sauna, not far infrared or infrared, right? I think sometimes when you have far infrared and even deeper penetration, I don't think it's necessarily better, because you are, every time you create heat and you create metabolic turnaround, you also create oxidative stress. So you don't want to be too extreme, just like chelation. You don't want to be a chelation forever thing. You can do it for rescue acute poisoning, but you want to do a gentle, more natural way. The wood sauna, the sauna that the traditional Finnish people use are much more proven safe. And most of the data are coming from the traditional sauna.
I see.
Does it make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense. I could go and finish this whole hour just by talking about this, but I would like to talk more about EMF, because every day that goes by, our exposure is more. I'm sitting right here, headphones on my head, speaking to a microphone next to a laptop. There's a camera in my face. There are lights around me. And this is only when I'm sitting and talking, to you. I'm not even mentioning what's going to happen when we finish, So, and that's only, there's so much. So what do we do? How can we minimize it? How can we help ourselves in our homes and in other places?
Yes. So I am actually involved with Dr. Deborah's Environmental Health Trust organization. And the 5G is definitely beyond, the frequency is beyond 4G, okay? It's closer to high energy field, close to radiation. So we don't really want 5G. If we can somehow limit that, because we really don't need 5G for our internet connections. So that's number one. Number two, we are also really supporting the fiber optic, internet connection. We're getting one in our neighborhood. They're everywhere. They're fast. They're fast. They're the fastest thing. It's fiber optic, much faster than Wi-Fi. Okay. So overall, we want to educate people. Look, if you have a community asking for fiber optic, if you have a community, try to block 5G. I don't think 5G is safe. Let's say with other EMF, what I would do is I want to have everybody have off time. Don't carry the phone to your bedroom. Just leave it upstairs. If you have a switch with your router, turn it off at night. Because always remember, we didn't have this 20 years ago. We don't really need it. We're becoming a little bit addicted to it, right? So have a conscious off time, put it on airplane mode, or just turn it off. When you're exercising, for an hour, the more off time, the better. That's number one. Number two, I do like BioDot because I wear this pretty all the time. They're not blockers. They are just they are actually a British company. They create the energy field to balance the frequency that's so violent to your body. I do feel a difference. I've been wearing it for 10 years.
You call it you call it a biodot?
Yeah, it's called a biodot, D-O-T. The company is now called Smart Dot. So if you just Google, you're going to see them. They actually update their product based on, the United States. They said it's worse. So they actually create a special thing just for United States. And fiber optic usage. A lot of people are selling the blocking things. Have you seen they have the hat, they have the cases and stuff like that. That's actually controversial because when the cell phone tower are always looking for sending you signals. So if your signal is really weak, the cell phone tower will increase the power to your ear, okay? So, in a way, it's not good to block it if you're using it, It's better turning it off. So that cell phone tower is not looking for you, So that's my understanding. I learned from Dr. Plurt, who wrote the book called The EMF Freedom, and she's really recommending off than shielding.
Okay.
So that's her recommendation.
A couple of things. You mentioned the fiber optic cable. Obviously, that's very fast, doesn't have, the EMFs. But let's say the neighborhood got all together and the city or the company, whatever, there is a fiber optic cable running straight to your home. But inside your home, there are many devices. You have children, you have other people, you have adults. Unless you carry a hard cable connection, they're still going to require Wi-Fi in the home.
Correct.
Huh?
Absolutely. That is true. So if you don't have the hard wire to each room, you may still have to turn on the Wi-Fi motor. But I think then you have the choice of turning it off at night. So you're not getting the signal all the time.
You may think you have a choice, but I believe you also have teenagers, in which case you realize your choice is much more limited than you think.
Oh, they all moved out.
So I still have them. And not such an easy choice.
No, I agree. I think our children are so much more, they live in such a different environment today. So Adiel, do you know recently Guardian just published an article about dropping sperm. Did you guys see that article? I know it's a little bit X-rated title. They talk about 60% decrease in sperm activity in male today. They also said by 2040, the sperm activity of human male will become zero. That's their zero by 2040.
That's not so good because what about this, the propagation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the best experiment they did, Adiel, I'm going to send you the experiment, is actually testing the sperm activity when the man put the cell phone in their pocket. They actually did a study. They measured the sperm cell activity. Not good. That's the hardest thing on men. Let me tell you. I always see my husband put his phone in the pocket. But he said, I'm not concerned about the baby. I don't plan to have any more baby. So I think that's the problem.
So you can say, honey, I love you so much. I'm going to demonstrate how much I love you by turning off my phone. Right?
Yes.
No, but it's very serious, really, because again, okay, so you want to be away from your phone. You want to turn it off when you can. You want to put it on airplane mode when you can. However, let's say that somebody lives in a neighborhood. You live in a beautiful country location in Mount Shasta, but some people just live. So they live in a house, regular size house. There's a neighbor here. There's a neighbor here. Let's say that they don't have teenagers. So they turn off the Wi-Fi. Great. They go to sleep like a baby. But if they look at their phone, here is the neighbor on the right, here is the neighbor on the left, all the time. The neighbors don't have a clue. So, I mean, what do we do? I mean, I know that there is paint. You can actually paint your home. There are cages for the, I mean, can you talk a little bit about all of that?
Yeah, so that's my concern is you can turn it off and then have the blocker against your, you know, your neighbor's pollution. But the thing is next day you need to use it. Then you have to unpaint your house. Otherwise the signal is going to get even worse to try to reach you when you are reusing it. You know, this is what I feel. I feel the reason EMF can damage the body is by increased oxidative stress. So if you are eating a lot of great high polyphenols, you know, we call the purple drink, they go into resveratrol, grape seed, green tea, they actually protect your brain by decreasing oxidative stress. The zeolite is fantastic to mitigate, you know, to actually lower that oxidative stress as well. OPC, which is oligoproanthocyanidin from these purple things, is they actually combined with zeolite can have been shown to decrease cellular damage from radiation. So if they can protect you from real radiation, it probably can protect you from EMF radiation. You see, real radiation is nuclear bomb. You know, they're showing polyphenols, you know, with zeolite together can protect it. So I'm sure it can really help you to live in the toxic environment a little better. But not to say, you know, use your phone all the time and then drink this, doesn't work. You do we call sensible reduction of exposure and then protect your body with a great nutrition. That's where I love some of the key nutritional supplements because they really protect you from these radiations.
Okay, so I mean, I don't think in the coming year, 2, 3, 4, we're going to be able to avoid 5G because it's also a marketing issue. The television now is 4K. They already have 8K. Pretty soon they're going to have 16K. And okay, to transport this video, we're not going to be able to avoid a 5K. Also, it seems to be a gimmick that sells very well, where your refrigerator can talk to your chair, can talk to your toilet. They all have a meeting by Zoom. They talk, oh, come on. So 5G is unavoidable. 5G is here, and people look at it again as a great feature. You know, like in Silicon Valley, we say, you know, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Okay, it's a feature. We're not going to be able to eliminate it. It's going to surround us. So all we can do is protect and defend, right?
I know, Adiel, that's one of the most daunting tasks humanity have to see, because we found out some of the things we're doing, not just to ourselves, but also to the birds, to insects. And those are the, you know, smaller creatures that's going to disappear from our planet. And so I always tell people, yes, you can have fancier equipment, you know, simply easier life. And my question is always, are you happy? That's really the big question. You know, are you getting all these gadgets, but are you having more time for yourself, for your families, for love? And when that comes to it, maybe one day humanity will wake up. You know, we're just being basically driven into addiction to technology, and yet we're not happier.
And again, the powerful marketing. I mean, you know, it's only logical. Let's say that you and I and Chad owned an electronics company. We would sit in the boardroom and say, how can we make people crave our new device? You know, it's only natural. We are being bombarded. It's not going to go away. It's only natural. I want to ask you about something else.
Yeah.
You know, recently
Yes.
we stopped hearing as much as before about glyphosate, but glyphosate is
Right.
everywhere. I mean, even if you eat organic, the field next door could leach. Can you talk about that? Because glyphosate, I mean, come on. I don't think there's a living human, I'm sorry, a living being who doesn't have any glyphosate.
Right. Correct. So Adil, I think it is an issue of money making machine, right? Dr. Zach Bush talked about, imagine somebody can control the food. That is a lot of power. So when you think about glyphosate being part of the massive industrial food production, it's not just herbicides, it's actually GMO, which made glyphosate ready, and that promote massive money accumulated to the agricultural chemical company. So I do think education is important. When I speak to environmental medicine doctors, I found the people in the West Coast are actually more aware of glyphosate. When you talk to all the doctors on the East Coast, they are more concerned about mercury. You see? So there is kind of like a division and disconnect. I think the key thing is, let's make the connection happen. That's really my new service. It's called the environmental toxin consultant. I tell people I don't charge your doctor, but I want him to be part of the conversation. I don't charge you. You got to bring me a doctor on board. Why? Because if a physician say, eat organic food, don't use Roundup, throw Roundup away, the patient will listen. Unfortunately, Adil, you know, chronic disease is now the new normal, right? The new normal. That means the medical doctors are seeing way more patients than ever before because patients are so sick. Everybody, even bicyclists can have type 2 diabetes, you know, that never happened before. So medical doctors are having the opportunity to tell patient couple things, you know, turn off your phone, you know, just eat organic food and don't use herbicides that contain glyphosate. Very powerful. If the physicians say it, it's definitely very powerful. Even it's only 15 minutes visit. This is our 3 things you can get rid of from your life. You will eat better, sleep better, digest better, everything will be better if you just don't do that. That's why I think you are part of the awakening process. I do think if people are awakening, especially moms, you know, get the young mom involved, they're like, I'm on it because I don't want my children to have, you know, some kind of weird disease and all that stuff.
And we see a lot of things in children that didn't used to exist as much before, obviously. But,
absolutely,
you know, we'll clearly have you for a future interview because there's so much we want to cover. But since we are going to wrap up very soon, how can our viewers benefit from your vast expertise? Website, books, courses, personal work. How can we all benefit from your knowledge?
That's a very good question. I don't have a book. I don't have time to write a book, but I have done a lot of webinars and they're all free. Okay. So all they have to do is send me an email called Dr. Lu at drlumd.com.
So I'll say it again. Dr. Lu, that's DRLU at drlumd, drlumd.com. Dr. Lu
Correct.
at drlumd.com.
That's the easiest way. They call me, I will do a free 30 minutes consultation, get their physician involved, and then get them tested.
And that's a very good thing to go. Is there a website we can go to also?
I have, my website is under construction. I would say gmoscience.org. It's a very good website with Dr. Michelle Perro started it.
GMO, what comes after? Letter by letter?
Science.
Can you?
GMO.
Science. Science.
Right.
GMOscience.org. Okay, that's great to know.
Yeah.
Now, I see here that people like to give gifts to our viewers. I see that you also, Chad has talked to you into giving us a gift. There is a summit, environmental toxin summit on April 30th to May 2nd, 2021. And we get a 10% discount to join the summit. How can we claim our gift?
You just go to the Great Plain Laboratory website. And then when you register, you say DRLU, then you can register with a discount. And they're not very expensive. They're like 3 days.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lectures by all kinds of environmental experts.
That sounds quite interesting. Is it Great Plain or Great Plains with an S?
Okay. The best one is GPL. 4 is number 4 and u.com.
Okay. GPL for you with a 4 big and number. Okay. .com.
.com.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Lu, I really want to thank you. I know we only grazed the surface, but obviously just to stir up the notions of getting to the root cause of what ails people is a good step already. It's like we said, baby steps. I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for joining me today for the second part of our amazing interview. If you didn't catch part 1, don't miss out. The link is in the description below for you. And be sure to click the subscribe button for more videos.